So for today's session, what we're going to be doing is that we are going to be wrapping up the last topic that has to do with access, which is basically the creation of reports. So what have we done through or what have we gone through? That's basically four things: how to create the database tables based on the relational model. That was the first block or first lab exercise. Sorry, the second block was how to create forms, which is basically the way we're going to be inputting data into the tables. Third lab exercise, had to do with creating queries, which is basically being able to access the database, to be able to extract information, which are the select queries, to be able to update information, which is the update query, and to be able to delete data, which is the delete query. And that's what we saw last class. Now, what we're going to be doing today to kind of wrap up is to see how we can generate reports. So what is a report? Basically, the same way that the form is going to be an element of the database, which is going to interact with the user to be able to input data into the tables. The report is going to be an interface for the user where I can present certain data to the user according to certain criteria, certain things that we need to show to the user. And that's basically a report. Reports can be based on a table. So I can grab a table and just extract things from a table that I want to show. And a report can also be based on a query. I can base the report on the results of a query. So before the report executes, the query executes, and the information I show is based on the query. I can also, the query, I can tell the query to create a table, and from that table generate a report. I can do all of those things. And that information is to be presented. Now, the way we're going to be seeing it now is that we're going to be seeing it through Access, so everything's going to be packaged in Access. But as this is a sort of an additional topic, and I'm probably going to leave this as a fifth lab exercise, but it's going to be a bonus. So if you do it, you'll get extra points. There's another video, another topic there that has to do with how to export things. So a report, I can export it to a PDF, an Excel, a Word document to be edited further. That's relatively easy. It's just got kind of clicking a button. I'm going to leave that as a fifth lab exercise. That's going to be optional and a bonus. Okay, if you guys want to do it, and it's going to have the same structure. There's a YouTube video tutorial. It's an easy way. It's really easy to do it, but I'm going to leave that as a bonus. So that's what we're going to be doing today. It's relatively quick, so I think that we're going to be able to do that, and I'm going to give you, and you're going to have the rest of the time of the class to work on your stuff. Remember one thing that I mentioned to some teams last session: the lab exercises that I'm giving you that have to do with the Hilltop Animal Hospital and your application project. The lab exercise says specifically what you need to do. You need to create a query for this. You need to create a report for this. You only need to do that for the lab exercise. And I'm not going to evaluate that it looks pretty. Okay. However, remember that for your application project, I do expect the forms and the reports to have a certain presentation. So what I'm going to walk through right now is sort of the plain version, but we mentioned, and I'm going to just give another example. When I do the reports, we mentioned that we can add images, we can add fonts, we can add backgrounds, we can make it look presentable. I'm going to leave that to you, and just remember that for your application project, I am expecting that. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to jump over to Access. So now what you should be seeing on the screen is the Access shell. Do you guys see that? It's good. It's in the screen sharing. Okay, so
yes, we can see it.
Perfect. Thank you. So in the Access structure that we have now, it's the same one we had previously. for the previous lab exercise where we had done the queries, and here are the queries that we did. We've got the form and we've got the table. So what we're going to do now is we'll create a few reports just to see how those are done. And it's relatively easy to do those. So to do that, we're going to go over here to create. We're going to go over here to this section that says report, and there's a report design and blank report. They're very similar. The only difference between one and the other, basically, is that in blank report, it's going to open the report in the report view, which is how the user sees it. And the report design is going to open the report in the design view. So you can choose either one and jump to the other view. See, if I just choose blank report, I'm looking at the report from the perspective of how the user is going to see it. But I can jump over here to the design view, which is what I'm going to use to design it. So either one you select is fine. I'm going to do a save first so I can put a name. And I'm going to just call this employee report. And I'm doing everything based on the employee table because it's the table that's got more information that we can play with. But you can do this with any table, really, the same procedure we're following. So I'm going to select the employee report. Remember, if any of you guys have a question, please just jump in. And even in the classroom, just open the mic and say, we want to ask something, and we'll stop. Okay. And again, this is being recorded. It's being recorded. You've got the YouTube video from last year, and you've also got the YouTube for the last 2 years. And you've got you have also the YouTube videos that are the ones from the tutorial. So what do we have here first? Notice that we have a section here on top that says page header. By the way, we can move these. I can make this larger or smaller. That's important. Whatever we put in the page header is always going to be on top of the report. It's always going to be on top. Our report could have many pages or many sections. It could scroll up or down or have many pages. The page header is going to be what's going to be on top of the report always. And in the same vein, on the bottom, we have a page footer. That's always going to be in the report in the bottom. And right here in the middle, where it says detail, is whatever is going to appear in the report with regards to our data. So what I'm going to do now is that I'm going to make this a little bit smaller. And what we're going to do is that we're going to do a report with regards to our employee table. And so what I'm going to do first is I'm going to select here the report properties. At least I like to do it this way. And on data, I'm going to select the record source, which is going to be employee. Okay. Once I select that record source, and I always do a control S, every time I do a step, I do a control S, so it's saved. Then we can go over here to report design, and we can select add existing fields. And so here are the fields I can add. Show only fields in the current record source. I'm only being shown the record source of the employees. If I click show all tables, it's all of the tables I can have. So I'm going to just show the fields of the table I've selected. Now, what I want to show here, I don't want all of the information of the employees. I don't want all the information. I can select what I want to place. So I want to know the employee social security number. So I'm just going to drag it over here. Remember that we can move these however we want. Remember that you click until it turns orange. And then with the little gray button, that's where you move just that element. Okay. So remember that the gray boxes are text we can modify. So we don't want the name of the record of the field. We want whatever we want to show. So I'm going to change that to emp SSN. Remember, the formatting can be as you wish. I'm just going to be doing some plain formatting here just so it looks relatively presentable. That's the employee social security number. I want to add the name as well. I'm going to change here so it isn't emp name, what it shows here. I'm going to say name. We know that it's employee information, so I really don't need to repeat the employee for each one. I'm moving this around. You can arrange it as you wish. Remember that some of the fields are going to have longer text, so you can make the box larger. And I also want the salary. I want to know the employee's salary. So I'm going to move this over here and select the salary. I'm just going to call this salary. And there's going to be the employee salary here. There we go. And that's the information I want to show. I don't want to leave a blank space here between records, because anything that's shown here in the detail, that's the way it's going to be shown in the report. So I'm gonna just show you the report how it looks right now with what I have. I'm going to go over here to the view, and I'm going to show report view. This is what the user is going to see. What do I have? I have the records for the employees with the name and the social security number. Okay. Okay. The employee and the social security number, the name, and the salary. But notice that there's a blank space here between each record. So if I go down, I'm going to see each of the records, but there's a blank space, and that blank space is there because I left that blank space in the design. So I want to remove that. I'm going to go to the design view, and I don't need this blank space. So I'm just going to fill this over here. Okay. I can make this smaller as well. And notice now, if I do that, I'm going to save again. If I do that, then now the report is like this. Okay, I can move those things around. We don't have a header or a footer yet. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to just select the text field here. And I'm going to put it up here, and it's going to just say employee salary report. Employee salary report. We could change the font here. I can make this bold. I can make this larger font. Say like put it like that. I can remove the. Oh, it doesn't have it's just going to be shown like that. Employee salary report. I'm going to add, just for the heck of it, I'm going to add an image. I want to add an image here. And it's going to tell me create from file. I'm going to look at whatever. Just want a silly image to put their pictures. Save pictures. Let's see if I have some pictures here from cities. I believe I don't have any pictures. I'm like, oh, here are some pictures. I don't know what this is. Let's do this one. I think this is a. That one wasn't shown. Image. I believe it's so hard to find an image. I knew I had to set these logos somewhere. Oh, I know. I'm going to go over here to Seed. Let's go here, logos. So this one, College of Engineering. There we go. That's a long time to do that. College of Engineering, and I'm going to put here on the bottom I just want a phrase here. I'm going to say we will not be. We do stuff good. That's going to be the motto of the company. We will not be grounded, and we do stuff good. And FC. Okay, and FC. That's going to be the motto of the company. And I'm going to add an image here on the bottom as well. Anywhere I can get that. I'm going to use one of the images we have here of the iCampus. Again, you don't have to do any specific things of this. You can design your this is too large. I have to make it definitely smaller. Don't need it to be as large. Make it much smaller. I'm going to put it here. Okay. So let's see how the report looks now that we've added that. So now that we've added that to the report, we can go to view, we go to the report view, and now the report has at least some formatting. So we can play salary report, College of Engineering, blah, 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 blah. We will not be grounded. We do stuff good in FC and iCampus logo. You can play around with these things to make things look better. I'm going to go back here to the design view. There's something that's called conditional formatting that you can play around with. And I'm going to just show an example here that you can play around with some things. Let's say that I want to highlight the lowest employee salary. Okay, I want to highlight the lowest employee salary. So I'm going to select the field that I'm going to analyze, so employee salary. And I'm going to go here over here to format, and I'm going to go to conditional formatting. So here in conditional formatting, basically what we do is that we select a field, and based upon that field, we're gonna do an evaluation criteria or a criteria where we say if this field has a certain value, or I can compare it to another field, or whatever criteria I define, I want to highlight, or I want to do something with that field. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new rule for employee salary. It's going to check the values of the current record or use an expression. We can compare it to other records as well. I'm just going to leave the first one. And so format only cells where the field value is, I'm going to say equal to, and I'm going to use an expression here. You can browse expressions in Microsoft Access, similar to expressions in Excel. You can browse them. Right now, I'm going to use one that's called dmin. And I have to give it two fields. I have to give it which one I'm talking about. So in this case, it's going to be empsal, which is a field, and from what table, which is the employee table. Okay, that's a criteria I'm going to use. It has to be equal to the minimum. And what I'm going to do here is the preview of the format. I want it to be bold. I want it to be, let's say I want it to be sort of pink. And I want just the color to be blue. That's going to be, or let's put it red. That doesn't look too good. I don't like red. Let's leave it at black then. Bold, black, and maybe underlined. Okay, so that's how the formatting is going to look. I'm going to click OK. So that's how the formatting is going to look. And what it should do is is the lowest salary. That field is going to be highlighted. So I'm going to apply. OK, and let's run the report. And the lowest salary is detected. The lowest salary in this case of this report is 10,000. We had eliminated, remember that we eliminated Thor. Thor had the lowest salary in the previous remove employee. And so that's something you can do. You can highlight fields if you wish, and you can play around with how the report looks. How the report looks. This is what I was talking about, that you can export things to different resources. So for example, let's say that I'm gonna, this is gonna be the bonus, by the way, I'm just mentioning it right now, but there's a bonus that you guys can do. I can export this to a PDF if I want. I can export employee report to a PDF. So let's say I'm gonna keep it here at settings. I'm gonna call it employee report and I wanna publish it, okay? That's just giving me a note regarding formatting. So it's closed. So let me go over here to look for that. And so it should be in settings. And I should have a PDF file. It's called employee report. And this has been exported to this is what it says, that we have to be careful. The margins don't coincide because it's wider on this side. I can make it smaller if I want. So that's why the margins don't coincide and it looks weird. It's similar to when you create a Word document and you want to export it to PDF or another format. You have to be careful with the formatting. But you can do that if you wish. You can export to Excel, to any other source if you want. And by the way, you can actually add you can add a button, if I'm not mistaken. You can go over here to design view. Let me just check here. Give me a moment. Remember. So, if I don't remember about this, so I'm gonna check it. But I believe you can add a button here. I want to click the properties here. Let's see if I can remember how to. This isn't part of the lab exercise. I just thought it might be interesting to include it. We've got the button there. I'm going to verify that in another. This, I'm going to verify that in another video, because we can create a button that actually does the exporting if we want. But it should have opened a wizard here that actually gave me the steps. I don't know why it's not. I don't know why it's not doing that. Well, I'm going to leave that for. No, it's just to do the code there. I think it's this new version of Access, because in the other versions of Access, you just kind of drag the button there and the button would give you a different functionalities. I don't know why it's not doing it right now. Yeah, I'm gonna check that. I'm gonna check that. But well, that, again, that wasn't part of this lab exercise. So again, I can move this also, so it's not. So maybe in the PDF we don't have so much blank space. I think if I do that and I go over here to external data, I create the PDF now. Yeah, it didn't give me the notice about the. Yeah, so now I don't have the blank spaces, you notice? Now it's just in the report. I can do that in Excel. I can do that in others. So that's going to be an extra points, a bonus points lab exercise to do the exporting and importing. Oh, we can also import data, by the way. We could have our data in an Excel worksheet. We can actually do two things. We can have a table and export it to an Excel, fill in all of the data automatically into the Excel, and then bring it to Access. We can do importing and exporting that way. But well, that's going to be the bonus. Now let's do one more report here. We're going to create blank report. We're going to go to the design view. Now what we're going to see is that we're going to be able to create a report out of a query. So let's say that we want a report of the employees. We can do any of these here. Let's say that we want the employee manager query. We just want the employees who are managers. So what we're going to do, we've got the report here. We're going to go over here to report. We want the data to be based on the employee manager yes no query. This is important. We have to link it to the query, or else we're only going to be seeing the tables. So when we do the format or the report design, when we click the add fields button, we're only going to be seeing the tables, but we want it to be related to the employee query. So it runs the query first and extracts the data we want. So we're relating it to the employee query. Then we're going to go to report design, and we're going to add fields. These are the fields I can add because they are related to the query. In this case, I'm just going to add the social security number. I'm going to add the same. I'm going to add the, let's say, the social security number. This table is going to be a little bit different. I'm going to add the what else can I add here? I'm going to add the name as well. I'm going to put the name here on this side. Make it different. I'm going to add I want to know the salary. I want to know the salary as well. I'm going to show this over here. That's basically the same fields, but just if it's a manager or not. I'm curious in the employee manager query. Oh, okay. Now I know why. I was going to add the gender, and I can add the gender, I think, but when we designed the employee manager yes no query, we only marked these fields to be shown when we did that. So if I go to the design view, we only selected these fields in the query. That's why they're not shown there. So if I wanted any of the other things, for example, I'm going to add to the query the department ID, and I'm going to add the gender. We didn't add them in the original query. Remember that we don't need to add all of the fields. So I want to show the department as well. So So I want to know the department ID. I'll show that too. And I want to, yeah, let's leave those there. Okay. I'm just going to add the department ID. The header, I'm just going to add a text field here that says employee manager salary report. I've got already the logos here, so I'm gonna play around with them. I can add the iCampus logo here on the top. It's too big. It's smaller, not that small. I'll add it here. And I'm gonna add here on the bottom. I'm going to add the same phrase just for good vibes. We will not be grounded. We do things good. And FC. Okay. And I'm going to add this the College of Engineering image here at the bottom. Okay. Okay, so what this table should show, what this report, I haven't saved it. So this is going to be the employee manager report. Click OK, and let's go to the view here. I'm gonna check the margins. I'm going to do that. Save. And we've got the report view. Now we've got only the employees who are managers, and this should be, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 managers we've got. And it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 managers that we've got there. And again, I can format this as I can format this as I wish. Okay. And I can also do conditional formatting. I can add whatever things I consider, whatever things I consider necessary. And here are all the different tools we have. I can add a hyperlink. I can do groups. I can do a page break. I can do a page break as well. If we want different sections to be presented, I can add an attachment, a checkbox, rectangles, list box. I can add lines to separate combo boxes. These are more formats for that might be more for forms maybe than anything else. Okay, so this is the way we generate reports. Okay, the version of the reports access that it's already in Blackboard, so you already have the one that has the examples of the report, so you can work on it. You've got these videos and the ones that are already there. Okay, questions with this walkthrough? Any questions at home or in the classroom?
Everything good, teacher.
Okay, good. It's good to hear. Okay, so